Welcome. Okay, we're gonna get rocking and rolling here. I am excited. Day 4. Oh my goodness, we're already here. So, how to build a brand that aligns with your purpose, dreams, and attracts the ideal clients. And I've always had said this, and I've been saying it this week. The brand is you, right? The brand is us. You can do all this nice, fun, fancy, splashy stuff. But at the end of the day, once you have a client with you, it's you that really obviously what sells them on you. They want to be with you. They want to utilize your services. They want to refer you. So a few of the things we've been talking about all week, we're going to start to kind of bring this together. And then at the end, we have some juicy stuff to share with you. As I promised yesterday, we're releasing our early bird to our program. Paul is already excited about it. She met up with me. So if you want to get together to even see some more behind the scenes, book in with me. I'd love to have a quick little chat with you. Check the pulse of a few things. So I want to go back to this playbook. Page 4 or 5. I apologize. My printout did not include page numbers. So I'm winging it out over here on my end. But where it says, what does your success look like to you? At the bottom here in the box, I encourage you to write a few things, if you have not done so already, with what does success look like to you? Some of you have already kind of alluded to a few things. Some of you kind of shared a couple things. If you're feeling brave amongst our crowd, toss even just like a couple words into the chat. I'd love to hear what we're thinking. I won't make you speak, but if you're brave enough to even just throw it in the chat, that would be amazing. Oh, hi, Kate. Nice to see you. I like it. Everybody's on camera today. That makes my heart happy. What does your success look like to you? Anyone care to share in the chat? Are we feeling brave to do one of these? Cheyenne, was that a hand up? Oh, look at her. No, that wasn't me. Financial stability. Yes. Everyone can agree with that. Kate, yes. Feel free to share. Is that working? Might have to throw it in the chat for now. Kat, is your... Here, let's try this. I might have to do this with Kate after too.
There you go.
Work?
Did you hear me?
Yeah.
Sorry, I lost the camera now. I can't even see myself talk here. Hold on. Shit. I did this last time, and this is why I couldn't get back to you guys. Anyways, I would just, what I was going to share was just, for me, what success looks like is obviously brand recognition, where you take it to that next level, and the reputation of the brand having quality service and quality skincare products. That's what it looks like to me.
Yes. I love that. That's a great share. I love that. That's great. Kate, here, let's see. Oh, there you go. Got it there.
Sorry, it took a really long time. I was like, how do I tap and not like completely X out of the service here? I think success for me would be like repeat clients, kind of getting to wake up and love what it is that you do, where you're looking forward to servicing some clients or having this type of a day and like getting excited instead of being like, another day.
Oh, that is huge too. That's a great share, right? Getting out of bed, actually feeling excited, not dreading. Or dreading tasks coming up too, right? Throughout the day. I'll just kind of, Paul and I quickly met before we jumped on there. We were talking about that. The list suddenly has a list and all your tasks start piling up, right? So it's understanding, having some structure that also makes you feel like you have that freedom to actually still do what you need to do within your business. Uruj, did you have a thought too, love? I thought I saw her hand come up. Oh, I'm not sure what she's doing. But yes, I agree with all of this so far. And I'm loving this. So let's break this down, because I feel sometimes we hear things, but we don't hear things. Right? And you guys have been getting a good chunk of stuff from us all week so far. And this is only day 4, but I think it's good to start thinking in terms of what you just said. How can you also maybe incorporate that into your messaging? Maybe this is what I was talking about before, like that little bit of like a reinvention, a rebrand, we're restructuring. And every little thing that you have said so far, I think should actually be part of your messaging, right? Like Kat, what you just said, take some of those words and almost do like a reintroduction to be like, hey, this is what's going on now in my business. And I think when you're coming from a place of more than just being authentic, like actually kind of like, here's my heart, this is what I'm doing. Come join me, right? Come hang with me. I think that speaks louder than just kind of throwing up sometimes the flashy stuff. You know what I mean by the flashy stuff, right? We're always so bombarded by so many things around us, right? But shifting your mindset into what is that why? What's that dream? And then kind of where are we going from there? Now, today is obviously still talking about the brand, but the brand is also still you. Some people think that they need to have, show of hands real quick first. Everyone's pretty much like, you don't have anybody working for you, right? It's just only you so far still, right? That's most of us. Okay. So when I think in terms of talking about your brand, you almost need to show like behind the curtain, some behind the scenes as to what you're doing. Now, I don't know, has anyone ever done this? Some of us have gotten professional headshots, but have we ever hired someone to help with like actually like a branding photo shoot that showcases you working the behind the scenes? I mean, most of us have like great cameras on our phones, but sometimes capturing like what's going on in the back end helps share the story. That's all you're doing. You're sharing a story. And if you come from that perspective, from website to your email marketing to your socials, you're going to have this nice consistency of what you're kind of showcasing, which is you. I also am a huge fan of like leaning on my clients for some testimonies. And maybe they'd like to be, you know, someone who's part of like a branding photo shoot. Just as an example, maybe you're showcasing like facials or something and they're part of that. And there's something different about using a stock photo versus actually having something of yours. Because there's something about having some pride when you go to share that. Does that make sense? Because you're like, that is me. That was my client. And what is that? Community. Like you're sharing real people. Think just a little outside the box. Think about the people who are part of your bubble that can be part of presenting your brand. Did anyone write down anybody that they were thinking of like partnering up with? People they could reach out to collaborate with? Remember from that on Tuesday? Kate, you did? That's amazing. Do you want to share a little nugget? Please do.
So I haven't really gotten into why I reached out to this person, but Kat, I actually reached out to you on Instagram and Facebook because I want to, I do want to collaborate with you, and I'm sure many other beauties I would love to share eventually, but I am looking to put together a self-care kit and a couple of different ones, and I would love to showcase and support local. So that's why I did reach out to you, and I have reached out to someone else, and eventually if that goes well, I would love to kind of take that and make it even bigger and have like more categories of what self-care could be, because as much as we are in the service of what people should be doing for self-care, I think we just need that. I mean, we need it, but we also need to just really encourage that. And so yeah, I would love to network and bring in lots of other people, but that's kind of where I'm starting. So Kat, I would love to talk to you more about it, but I can't wait for just others, because yeah, I really want to collaborate and be friends with everyone. And like, as much as I will be multiple services, I want to be able to tell people, like, if I can't take you, I know this person and she's great and I would love to, you would reach out to them.
That's perfect. That's beautiful, Kate. What a great share and
Thank
great
you.
mindset. Because I know we talked about that on Tuesday. If you can't do all the services, again, within your bubble, referring, right? Creating all of that. That is a huge share.
Thank you.
Let's kind of break this down a bit. So when it comes to creating content, do we feel like we can be a little stuck at times creating content? Okay, so we're going to kick off with this. And Krista's going to be sliding in once in a while with some stuff too. And she's got her fancy presentations. I don't, I just talk. I just talk. That's all I do. But that's just how my brain works. And my hands, this is what I do a lot. So when I think of content dumping, you need to find at least once a week to sit down with yourself and like dump some content together. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. Sometimes I will shoot 4 or 5 videos in an afternoon because I'm on fire and I'm feeling it and I have a lot to say. So there might just be moments maybe throughout the week. If you have a hard time just sitting down and I get what I call like writer's block, that might be hard for you. But if you are on a high after a client leaves, that's probably the best time that your creative juices, your chakras are all open and you're like, I have lots to say. And now would be a great time to write and shoot video content. Video content is great. So get a little comfortable being on camera. I don't think things need to be perfect because you're coming from a place of heart. You're sharing your spirit, which is all part of your brand. Telling a story. It's all we're doing, guys, is just telling stories. So content dumping is great. I have stuff I shot probably 3 weeks ago that are still in the kitty. Right? And when the timing feels good and you know that it's there, then it's there. And you get really creative at setting things up. Like maybe you just don't have to sit down on your laptop. Sometimes I'm on my phone and I'll just open up Google Calendar and I'll just choose some days and I'll plop in the text that's going to go, say, with a post into a blog, into an email newsletter. So when Krista gets stuff from me, there's a lot of verbal vomit because it's just like you're on fire. And I think it needs to happen after like hanging out in a webinar when you feel what? Most inspired. And don't be shy, be brave, share it all. Right? You are a human being. And when you're in the business of like, I want to share my heart, this is my journey, you start to kind of attract some followers and some people who are like, I like this and I want to do business with this person. Kate, did you do this? Did I see something? Yes, we jump on.
So how do you, I guess what I really struggle and overthink, which probably stops me from doing anything the most, is like bios or like the wording that would go underneath the pictures.
Yeah, we're going to get into some of that. Yeah, that's
okay.
great. Yeah, so hang tight. Actually, you know what? Maybe for now, if you guys have a quick thought that pops up, instead of doing this, throw it in the chat. And then I make sure we're referencing kind of along the way. Does that sound okay to everybody? Just because we have a lot to do. But no, that's a great question, Kate. So I feel when it comes to content dumping, sometimes even just write things in like short bullets or just write some stuff out. Or who remembers from Tuesday, ChatGPT? It's not going to write it for you. Because again, this needs to come from your expertise and your heart. But ChatGPT can at least help take like a couple sentences, a couple paragraphs, and turn it into something a little bit more different. And this is how you talk to ChatGPT. Generate this in a friendly form. Generate this in a salesy form. Generate this as whatever you want to say to it, and then you paste a couple of your lines. And you can't just paste like a whole thing. I feel like if I need it and I'm having a brain block, it comes in handy just to grab a couple of my senses and kind of put it in there. And I was like, okay, that sounds better. That's what I was trying to say. So maybe try that, because when I think of bios, sometimes it's just as simple as like, here I am, this is me. I would kick it off with, actually, there's a lot of great also webhook generator little platforms to plop in like your first few sentences to say, can you come up with like a webhook for me? That can also help kind of kick off a post or an email post. But I feel a lot of these platforms have great AI already built into them too as well, where they might make a mild suggestion to you to say, you know, this could sound better. Just as a simple email subject heading, and you're like, oh, I thought I was like rocking and rolling, and then they tell me this sucks, you can do better. Right? So I'm like, a lot of these platforms have AI built into them to kind of help feel out, this is what you're trying to say, and maybe this is who your market is, right? So look up some webhooks where you can kind of just plop in like your first two sentences, and then that way it helps kick off what you want to say in a social media post. Maybe this is the beginning of your bio. Maybe this is the beginning of the company's website bio. And I would come from a place of why I started this journey. If you've been in the game for a while, get back to the beginning. And I think when you've been in the game for a while, sometimes going back to the beginning, you all remember I was saying this the other day, you almost kind of forget. You're like, oh yeah, I did that, blah, blah, blah. I kind of forgot about that. So you kind of reread your own press clippings, right? Your own like headliners. And you're like, you know what? Look at me. I've done all this. This is great. Because we do get to a point in our business where we feel, and we almost forget about how magical we can be, really. And I've been there. So sometimes just going back to the beginning of why did this all start? Here we are today. Let's get back to some basics. This is where we're going, but always talk about your why. Right? So Paula, not to pick on you, you've been in the game for a while too, right? So kick off like your bio, your meaning, your everything that you share is going to be, this is why I started this. This is what we've grown to today. Even if you're not quite where you still want to be, that's okay. Because I'm also going to give you guys a big tip. You're probably inspiring other people in the industry without you even knowing it. Because people aren't brave enough to still sometimes DM and reach out to say, hey, thanks for sharing that stuff. People don't know how to reach out anymore and compliment people. Do you know what I mean? Unless you feel good in your own skin. But just think you might be coming from a place where you're helping people. Oh, this is what I'm going to say about shooting videos. Shoot it straight up on the fly, be real, put it out there, and don't reshoot. It gets worse. Because now you're trying too hard. Like this morning's post was me crying. I was just like, you know what? Fuck it. Here it is. Like, this is what's going on in my life right now. And it's okay to be real. And I was like, is this too much? And then again, literally, I just said, I was like, fuck it. I don't even care. I do care, but I don't. Because you don't know who you're helping on the other end. And to me, that is a huge major impact. And a lot of people might not pipe up. A lot of people might not say anything. It doesn't matter. You know where you're going. You know what you're doing. And you're trusting it. So if you're better at walking and talking, shoot your videos that way. Or if you want to have a demonstration and have someone there with you, that's fun because you can kind of laugh together and just have a good time playing. That's all you're doing, right? Content is just creative play at its finest. And yes, stop overthinking, Kate. I think if you're feeling it, that is the moment just here it is. But yeah, this is the only thing you have to get good at. If it's for like Instagram or Reel, within like a minute and like 16 seconds, because otherwise you get caught off and then you're like, damn it. Then you're reshooting. Right? So there's little things you need to kind of look up to kind of understand where, how much time do you have depending what platform you're sharing on. And one platform here, I'm just going to kind of take a quick peek, make sure I'm on track here. Remember how we're talking about using like tech and tools? Who's on LinkedIn? LinkedIn is like the platform to be right now to connect with other entrepreneurs, professionals, like-minded individuals. It's not saturated like, say, Facebook. And I have a sneaky suspicion because everyone here has had success, you know your vision, you know where you want to go. That is like the greatest platform to connect with people there too. Unless you have like, say, a community page, which that's what we kind of started, so things don't get kind of lost in the shuffle too, and people don't miss emails. But for the most part, LinkedIn is like amazing
Sorry,
for building a platform. Oh, yes,
was
Kate?
was it Facebook and LinkedIn are the best? Or you're saying
LinkedIn.
LinkedIn?
Yeah.
Okay.
LinkedIn. Yeah. I prefer it. And most people I talk to, whether they're in the industry or been, you know, running a company for a bit, they're like, LinkedIn is such a fantastic tool. It's a different type of reach. I'm going to call it's more sophisticated with the humans that are on there versus, right, some other meta products out there. Instagram is great too, but I think Instagram is just a little bit of a bonus and a great place to also just kind of have some things in there, because that can sometimes, Instagram can be like a nice small community of people together too. Yeah, Cheyenne, you can do voiceovers on video too, worst case, whatever you're comfortable with, right? Some people get really fancy with their videos. I don't. I don't have time. I have a message to share, and that's the message today. Done. And I'm out. But if you want to get flashy with it, by all means, that might change your game too. I don't know. Everyone's different, right? Oh, Shane, did you have your hand up?
Yeah. So like I do have some clients that do wonder like what happens during a facial. So like I've always thought about like recording it, having that like quiet music so I don't do the talking, then do the voiceover to
Yep.
like explain my steps and everything.
Yeah, I think that's great too. Like there's tons of ways you get creative to at least share the behind the scenes. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I'm a fan of too, like if your client's cool with it at the end, or if I've had students or I'm hanging out with one of my partners, whoever, shoot like a little video for story to share, you know, like everybody wants to be together and supporting each other. And to me, that is great content. It's not something that's not unrelatable to you. And I'm just going to say this, don't shoot videos of you dancing. That has nothing to do with your passion. That has nothing to do with where you're going. That might confuse some people. They'll be like, oh, she's pole dancing now. What's happening? I heard it's a good workout. I'm just saying. One of my clients was like, you should go pole dancing sometime. I'm like, another time. Before and after pictures, 100% Rouge. Like I'm totally down. Whatever you think you can grab and whoever's hanging out with you is comfortable with it. Most people are. Most people actually like kind of have them feel like they're part of like some fame that's coming from a self place. I think you're probably in the right place. But share client journeys, people you're working with, your partners. If you're lining up with someone new and you've been working together for a while, that's a great way to also share some stuff. Now, I also think too, things to kind of help also elevate your business a little bit. Have we put any other thought into like creating like memberships, subscriptions? I think if you're kind of like in skincare, laser, some form of like even retailing, you should have something in place. Subscriptions I feel like are becoming more of a broad, like a better term than using just a membership, where say they buy like a package of 4, that's a package, costs them this much. But say they actually subscribe this amount of money, something smaller, over like the next year, and you show them the value of like, say this package was like 2,500. But if they pay small increments, they do some stuff, there's some intro fees to that. And then moving forward over the next year, say they get like 24 services instead of 4 at 2,500, you know what I mean? And then they only end up spending like an extra 500 when it's all said and done. You can get really creative, and that helps to also create a little bit of extra income on the back end. So instead of just having a one-stop shop payment, are we rebooking? Oh, I'll let you know. That doesn't really help determine your paycheck, right? So you want something that helps create that you always know that you're going to have something in the kitty every month, especially during low seasons, right? Like our lowest season in the industry is usually what? Holiday season, January, like there's a bit of a dip, right? And I always used to joke that most of my paid advertising and marketing would kick in around May or June, because now I finally, we're kind of coming back up again, right? Into the high prime season. Hey, Ruth, did you have a thought there?
For the subscription, that's a really good idea, because I do like international kind of consultations. And when you're doing that, like you have your own client list and everything, and they are reaching out to you. If you're just giving them a consultation every time they're reaching out to you, it's hard for you to just actually, go and ask them for some certain fee or something, because I do it online all the time, right? So having a subscription, it's so easy, because they know they have unlimited access to you, but you are getting paid as well. So it's like a really stable kind of way
I
to
agree.
make connection.
Yeah, I totally agree. So that's something to honestly kind of look at, because I feel like most of us are coming from a place of wanting to know you have that security.
Absolutely.
And it might
You
be a
don't
little bit
have-
of trial and error too, right? Just to kind of figure out what that is. And it doesn't have to be something, again, super high end. Maybe just start with some basic stuff and then go from there. You two will have to connect after about the international.
Absolutely.
Kate asked you a question. Thanks, Urush. That was a good
Yeah.
share,
Thanks.
right?
Yep.
And actually, this is interesting, because I was just going to say, this also brings me into when you're talking to certain people, and part of your marketing, whether it's like hashtags in your SEOs, when we start fine tuning messaging on like the digital side of it all, you want to make sure that everything you're promoting is local, unless you're like Urush, she goes back and forth, right? So making sure you always have, as an example, Calgary, specific words to your business. Always make sure that everything is fine tuning for you to be local, because those people want to come and see you within that radius of where you're at, right? I know sometimes it seems simple, but then we complicate it because we're humans. But this stuff does take a bit, right? And to sometimes just sit down with yourself and hash it all out sometimes can be very overwhelming. And it's nice to have master classes, but Paul and I were talking earlier. I'm like, that's why instead of just having master classes and workshops and be like, see you guys later, good luck with everything, see you around. I was like, this needs to be turned into a full program. That's what I've been working on, because it's nice to know that you can show up and we actually focus on like little things at a time. And it gives you space to actually just be like, great, this is my time. Let's do it. Plan of action to move forward, right? All these little fun things. So scheduling time, memberships, using tech and tools. We want to have a little bit more of a kind of in-depth conversation on how to set up like kind of a clean, easy website. Who has a website? Now, here's the thing. You don't build it once and leave it alone. It's a journey, right? And we want to make sure we got some things in place. So Chris is going to kind of slide in. She wants to kind of showcase a little bit more about the websites, how these can look. and she's taking what we talked about on Tuesday and getting a little more advanced. Does that sound okay to everybody? That's what you're here for. So let's give it to you. Krista, good morning.
Good morning. So I guess a brief little rundown of what I went over on Tuesday was introducing tech programs and that kind of stuff that can help your back end. So going into building your brand, you're going to want to have programs that are easy for you to use and easy for your customers and clients to use. So I don't want you to overthink this, especially in the beginning. If you don't have a website, if you don't have all these fun things kind of already set up, find things that are simple to you. So if we talk about websites, finding a website that is going to be able to showcase three main things. You don't need to overcomplicate it. You just need it to be simple. So your three main things that you're going to want to focus on when building your website are going to be a You page. You're not going to get clients who want to come and visit you and have services from you if they don't even know what your face looks like. Plain and simple. So you have to build that personality. So have a picture of yourself on there. Have a picture of you working on a client or doing things that you love within your business, and then a short little bio. If you go to my website, mine's about my kids and my husband and living on an acreage and all my chickens and the crazy that I have. And then I jump into what I love about my business, and it just gives people a little bit more of a personal touch to who you are, because you are in the business of being personal with people. The next thing that you really want to make sure that you have is a services and products page. So that's where you're going to make your money. So making sure that you highlight your products in such a way that people are going to want to purchase from you. So highlighting their key attributes for all the products, highlighting your services that you provide for each of your for your clients that people can purchase from you. Making sure that those descriptions aren't super long and wordy, because back to the kindergarten, like Trina likes to say, lots of people don't understand, even me included. I don't really understand a whole lot of like the skin and all that kind of stuff. So don't put that in there. Don't make it too wordy. Simple, how people can understand. And then your last one that you really should have on there is a testimonials page. So having testimonials and having people that you've worked on in the past, having them speak to your future audience is going to help you huge. If people don't build that trust with you and hear from other people who have worked with you, they're going to be less inclined to want to go to you for their services. So those are the three main things that I would say to have in your website. I wouldn't overcomplicate it. There are so many programs out there that are big and fancy, and it's just a lot of junk. So I came up with just a couple that I would suggest using. So if you've heard of Squarespace, so there's Squarespace and Wix. Wix is a really good one as well. Those ones they're easy to put up a cart page, easy to put up a product page. It doesn't have to be fancy. You don't have to have links all over the place. You can have one link straight to where you got to go, done. And then those websites also kind of move into, if you're wanting to start blogging or podcasts and that kind of stuff, those are easy to integrate. Social media on the other end, you also want to make sure is pretty simple. Trina had mentioned making sure that when you're filming things and filming content, just do it one-off. And I'm learning that myself from Trina. I'm one to overthink, but I do understand the concept of not overthinking, because I had somebody tell me once that when you are filming a video and you're nervous about putting it out there, how many people are actually going to see it? If you look at your analytics on your Instagram, how many people are actually watching your stories? How many of your followers are actually engaging with your stories? Those are the people who are going to see it, but it's not, say you have 20,000 followers, you only get a small fraction of that. So don't worry about it. Don't worry about repeating yourself. Don't worry about having to reshoot. I am like glass house over here. I reshoot all the time, but I understand that concept. So just making sure that you're knowing who you are as well and putting that into your social media, putting that into your website, and making people feel like they know you on a personal level will help you huge. One other thing I wanted to touch on with the social media, not to overthink when and how many times a week you are posting. So you can follow all these accounts that say, oh, you should be posting every day. You should post every couple days. You should post 5 times a day. Like, don't believe that. When you have something to say, when you have something to show, do that. Follow your own set rules. Now, I'm not saying leave it for 6 weeks, because that will just crush your Instagram and your following and all that kind of stuff. But don't overthink it. I try and post every day on my stories, because that is where people are going to feel most connected to you on a personal level. Your posts, like your actual grid posts and your reels and that kind of stuff, are for reaching other people. They're for giving information. So that's where your information is. So stories are for your personal touches. I like to post every 3 to 5 times a week. My social media not included. Everybody else is included. So yeah, so just showcase yourself. Make sure you put your testimonials out on social media as well. Make sure that you feel connected to your clients. Make sure that you're commenting back on clients. People you want to collaborate with, comment on their stuff. That helps everybody. So that, yeah, just make sure you keep it simple. Keep it simple, do what your heart says, and go that way.
Yeah, this is good stuff. I want to jump in on the social media side too, because it does serve a purpose if you do use it correctly. So reels end up in other people's feed. It ends up like in a different spot on those platforms than just people seeing it right on like your profile, if that makes sense. Then you can share that too into your stories, which is great too, because then there's like a different type of reach. But I'm with you. They usually you'll have a core of people who watch your stories. What's nice about stories, they last 24 hours. So it gives you don't feel like you have to be a constant thing. I feel like I probably share like maybe 3 stories in batches and let that cycle through. Unless there's more I need to say. Right? Because again, you're going to have different weeks in your business. There's different things you're going to be promoting. And I usually come from, think of like what you want to say for each season. So right now we're nearing the end of May. And usually summertime is summertime. People are thinking of summer. So you're probably thinking, what's happening in the fall? What are my packages? What am I promoting? Like I used to joke that, somewhere around, maybe September, we're thinking Christmas, and I feel like I've bumped that to August. Right? Because there's like, think in terms of like where you're going to want to be and start kind of pre-selling those packages to come. And then in the social media, make sure you have that link tree where you can promote your packages, subscriptions, and literally it takes people right to like where they need to go. Make it easy. Because social media can still be good. You just have to make sure you got it set up. Right, Krista?
Exactly.
Those
And
are for some other
Linktree,
clients.
I want to just say about Linktree, it is free, which is awesome. And you can if you use Linktree and you use it properly, and you have links, say, in your email mail outs, if you're using Kajabi, if you're using that kind of stuff, you don't actually need like a www website. That's the cool thing about Linktree, is you can set it up with just landing pages, with product pages, and people can go there instead of setting up a huge website.
Yeah, it's true. How are we feeling? Is this overwhelming or is this good? Some of you are like, I don't know, I'll let you know later. Writer's cramp. Go ahead, Krista.
Oh, I was just going to say there's other things. One that popped into my head that would be really good for beauty people who are selling actual products is Stan Store, StanStore. It's more of a subscription to them. but you can put your products right on there and people can buy right from that site. So it sets up exactly the same as Linktree, right in your link, right in your bio. And people can go there, click your products. You can put blogs on there. You can put all your testimonials. So just a different option instead of building a massive website, unless you want a massive website too.
I think gone are the days where you feel like you need to have like all these big flashy things and just utilize things that just can kind of create ease in your business, to be honest. Because that's where I was at too. Like most of my courses are all built on WordPress. And then when I found Kajabi, I was like, how more simpler is this? Again, cutting time down, cutting costs down, having all these things that are in place. Less risk too when you know you're part of a platform that if they're always doing maintenance and updates to their websites, whereas like with WordPress, they have so many plugins and apps within there that are all individual, which is kind of cool, but it's so techy that you still need to know code for certain things. I don't have time for that. And neither do you, right? I'm like, we want to utilize things that it can be easily like an app on the phone. You can just quickly like pop in something. Last night I had a slight struggle, so I was texting Krista and then she fixed it. And it was all like resolved in like 2 hours with not even knowing how to know code. She's like, you just forgot to click one thing. I'm like, there's always one thing, but that's why you have your people. Right? It's just, yeah, figuring out what's going to work best. And I don't think you need to dive into using everything that's available just yet. Same with social media. Where are your most followers? Do we know? Where do you get more kind of traction, more impressions, more people kind of reaching out to you? I think that should be your sole focus for now, is just kind of growing that baby and that email list. Email marketing, you guys, because you own that. God forbid you lose your social media account. That's not fun. But email marketing list is definitely like where it's at for sure. Okay, I just want to double check. Krista, have we covered most of everything?
So
think so.
I did want to say, don't be afraid to put out your email list onto your social medias.
That too.
So when you're telling a story, when you're talking about a product, when you're talking about whatever, be like, hey, oh yeah, I have an email newsletter or whatever. Make sure that you sign up for it so that you stay in the know, so that you get the updates to my sales, to new products, new launches, new courses, whatever it may be. Just sliding it in there as you're speaking about it. Stick the link to your sign up form or whatever, and get those emails that way. Because if you only are finding that you're taking your clients' emails and then you lose your Instagram or whatever social media the next day, you've lost all of those potential clients. You want to make sure that you still have a flow of potential clients and past clients, but if you want to keep that revenue and that generating, keep going, you have to keep building that email list. So making sure that you're reaching out to even the strangers.
I agree. Paul asked a good question. Okay, this is a mouthful. Do you have to ask permission to send emails? Okay, here we go. Technically, by Canadian laws, when it comes to email marketing, any type of digital marketing, if they have bought a service, bought a product in the last 2 years with you, automatically they can be put into your email list. However, some platforms will do this to you if you manually put their email in. And then when you want to go to email them, it'll end up either in spam or automatically you can't email them anymore. So you have to make sure that if you're looking for an email marketing platform, that they have some flex to that, because maybe you do want to take a previous list that you have in a spreadsheet, right, and dump them into your new email marketing platform. There are some that I was like, well, that was a waste of time. I will say this, Kajabi's been easy, MailChimp's been easy. Because they'll triple check with you, be like, are you sure? And you're like, yes. Now, On the other side, you do an event, you run a social media like giveaway, contest, things like that. You have to have a box somewhere that says that they understand that by entering, they're going to be automatically put into your email list. And there are platforms that you can use to track it digitally versus like the old school pen, paper, ballot, put it in a box. So there is some tech out there. You just have to make sure that it meets your needs. So it can get kind of tricky because you get excited, you get your email marketing all set up, ready to go. And then you realize everybody bounced back because the platform was like, no, you put all these people in here manually. They didn't just join your email list. So MailChimp might be kind of a good starting point at more of a cost-effective if you're looking to kind of start grouping your people together, if that makes sense. Does that help? So I was like, hang on, I have thoughts. It's never just one answer. It's usually, here's 6 reasons. Kat, are you trying to say something? Did you wave?
Finally figured out on my phone how to get the unmute. But no, it's just under you can just also look it up on the CASL, gives you all the kind of parameters about sending out email, getting permission, and giving people the option to unsubscribe if they don't want to receive your emails.
Yeah.
So you have to follow that. So it's my legal
Yeah.
background, sorry.
No, that's great. Well, I was like, I remember when they launched that was already 10 years ago when it became a
Yeah,
thing.
it was a big deal. It's a very
And now
big
I
deal.
think most platforms, it's already like it's implemented. You can't even take it out when you go to build like a broadcast or an email sequence. Every email has it at the bottom. Like you can't even remove it yourself. Like it's an automatic thing that people can leave.
Yeah.
Because I remember in 2014 when they were launching that, I had a client. She's like, I'm trying to unsubscribe. And she was actually swearing at me. And I had to reply to be like, do you realize that there's another human being on the other end? What's wrong with you?
Yeah.
And meanwhile, I looked back and I was like, it does say unsubscribe at the end. People just don't read.
That's right.
I'm like, Lord have mercy, lady. So at least people are a little bit more somewhat kinder now, right? But for a bit there, you're like, oh Lord, what's happening? So we'll keep it as that, kind of nice and light, not too much more heavy. Did any of you have any other questions for Krista and I? Or any other thoughts to share? Yes, Cheyenne.
So when you were like talking about like making your website bigger and everything, like I could see myself making my website bigger because like I know I'm gonna want to continue adding services so my clients can always be happy to always go to one person to get all their services done instead of looking for someone to do manicure, pedicures, then tanning at another location. Like I kind of want to be like that one person that could do it all at once to help them around. And also like I like to be mobile so my clients can be comfortable where they are at, and like first meeting them too, it helps them a lot too. So doesn't have like I've had a few females, but I usually bring all my males to the school just so I feel a bit more comfortable until I get to
Good practice. Yeah.
learn about them more.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's great. Can I offer a suggestion about being mobile?
Yeah.
Make sure your rates are high enough to cover mileage and the time, because it's a
Yeah.
different time when you're traveling over the city. That's
Yeah.
how we roll over here too. Just as,
Yeah.
as a tip. One
And
bus to another bus.
well, that's the thing with my car. She's $40 to fill,
Doesn't
and
matter.
a good she'll last for 2 weeks, and like I just like it's just an old little beater.
No, it doesn't matter, Cheyenne.
Yeah.
Make sure your rates are set accordingly, because that's your livelihood too, girl. Trust me, it adds up very fast. Kate wants to pipe in.
And I was going to say, I would pick mobile days. So like have certain days out of the week that you're mobile instead of like people being able to just select that whenever, because it makes it so that you aren't like over here. And then if that person runs late, then you're late getting over here. And then you got to be back at this place here for this time. Like just make
Yeah.
sure that you're making it so that you're not running around like a chicken with your head cut off too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I actually messaged them before I book with them. I'm just like, hey, is this
Good.
gonna be at my place, my school, or am I coming towards you guys? I always
Yeah.
like to make sure, because like that's when I can actually double check, make sure I can actually book them on that exact day.
That's good. I think Rouge has a thought too on this.
Yeah.
We all got your back right now, Cheyenne. Look at us.
Well, there's this thing like she's explaining like how she connects with people, and then she makes sure that she's in the loop and, you know, back and forth. I think sometimes you have to be the boss of your game and don't let people dictate you what time and where and how and all that. Because it's always important, especially when you're mobile, to have your own say instead of them telling you what to do.
Yeah.
For your own sake, for your livelihood, and for your safety as well.
I agree 100%. Because eventually you're young,
Yes.
you're rocking and rolling over there, Cheyenne. I see it. I see it. But you're going to burn out. I'm going
Yeah.
to tell you right now, burnout's real too. So make sure, Kate's suggestion I think is great. Like maybe have days that are like chosen to be on location, mobile,
Yeah.
and other days you're here at the school. And
Yeah.
then you have a little bit of a schedule and consistency. So then you're not, gonna be
Yeah.
burning out in the first year or two.
Well, I'm just doing it for right now because like I'm just trying to build that clientele just so I can like build bigger. Then like as soon as I have that decent amount, then I can get into a regular schedule. So I can like work around my schedule and my client schedule too.
Wonderful. I love it. Enthusiasm, right? This is what you need to succeed. I'm loving this. Okay, what's up next? I think we covered everything we need to. I'm just triple checking. Krista, we're good? I think we covered it all. Okay. Anyone want to see the back end of what's been being built? What we've been doing over here? I know you do. I'm going to quickly share my screen. It'll take like 2 seconds here. Let me do my screen. So, everybody can see my screen here. We're okay? So we still have lots to fill in, but right now we're putting in 11 modules. Each module is going to have close to 10 courses within there. So this program, as I was mentioning before, was built on a workshop where people would leave and I'm like, see you later, good luck. And everybody always still had questions. So let's take a year together where you have the flex to kind of get in, do your own online studies. Twice a week we get together and we actually work on tasks together. And then once I have also implemented, if you secure your spot to launch with us in coming June 5th, there's also some extra bonuses, like a more one-on-one strategy sessions with me. A lot of people find those one-on-ones are kind of nice, but a lot of people still enjoy the group get-togethers. And then we're going to create retreats. And then we're going to create all these things. And then there's also extra bonuses and discounts attached to this because Krista and I started to put together some small little marketing packages if you feel like you still can't keep up. But the program allows you to slow down and zone in and focus on all the areas we need to for maintenance and sustainability. And what I've been getting from most, I'm gonna stop sharing so I can see all your faces. I can only see a few of you. What I feel the most feedback I'm getting is finances. Some of us feel like we need structure and most of all, support. Right? We feel like we're alone a good chunk of the time. So this whole program is let's hang for a year and let's take the time to build and create where you want to go. And again, without sacrificing your wellness, your health, your bank accounts. Like, let's build something that's sustainable, right? I know it's always a constant investment, right? But this is for you. So I'll get Krista to throw up the link there so you can kind of take a quick peek. You have that available. Everyone's part of the Facebook community page. We're going to plop that in there as well. But if you really want to have a one-on-one with me to really feel out, are we a good fit for each other? Book in a quick 15-minute chat with me. You know where to reach me. I get to see Kate on Saturday to have a conversation about some stuff moving forward, right? So I just feel that the industry needs something. We all need something. And most of you have come to a pinnacle in your career, and I too recently. So it's more about having those people in your corner, but also having some structure and strategy instead of just feeling like you're kind of running around. What'd you say, Kate? Running around with your head cut off like a chicken? Don't be a chicken. Be brave and be beautiful. Right? So Krista will throw the link in here so you guys can grab it. Do you have the link there, Krista? Oh, something's happening. I can't hear you now either.
I had only sent it to Kat for some reason,
Oh.
and not everybody else, only her.
There
Now
we go.
it's everyone. Yep.
There we
And
go. So early
put
bird
down the-
access. So Tuesday, secure your spot, and then you get access to all those extra bonuses. And then there's also at the bottom, you will see, you can also prepay for the year and save 20%, and you'll still get all the extra bonuses too. So you have a couple options moving forward, because I feel it's hard just to be like, here's one full program price. Let's give you some options so that way you can choose what works for you the best. Yes, Kate, did you have a question? Oh, she's leaving. Okay, bye, love. Thanks for being here. And then we'll make sure everything's in the Facebook group too. But if you have not already, just DM me. Let's get together, and I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have for sure. This was great. Thanks for being here. Not even just today, but for this week. I just feel my heart is very full. Any other last thoughts? We feel good? Ready for the day? Me too. I have another workshop here actually in a half hour. So I'm going to go eat and I'm going to go hang with them. So thank you for your time. Good to see you guys. Enjoy the rest of your day, and we'll see you tomorrow. It's going to be a good one. Okay, bye for now.